Hello, I'm Riga Sager.
And I'm Deschanel Sager.
And we're wrecked and
certified.
certified. Hey, welcome back,
Welcome
everyone.
back.
Yes, it is good to be back
Glad
in
to
the
be here.
BD local studios. Once again, we are back.
We are back.
And you know what? I think last week was Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think it was.
Valentine's Day
Yeah.
weekend. It was a snowy Valentine's weekend.
You know what? But it was cool
It was good.
because I went out and I did some deliveries. I got stuck in the snow and I came back to spend some time with my beautiful bride, and we binged watched
The History Channel.
the History Channel. So that was our Valentine's Day, wasn't
It
it?
was good, though. I
Yeah,
loved it.
Man, I'm
So.
telling you, we got inspired by watching that show. But before we jump into the subjects, I just wanted to just do a quick little recap. The last couple of shows we've been talking about blended families, and hopefully the blended families that are out there, you had some time and you had just sitting down with one another, enjoying each other's company, and you learned something from our experiences regarding your blended family.
Yeah, hopefully you took away some tools that you can use in your life, in your family. Hopefully you set up that time where you can do those game nights and get some resolve in some of those issues where you can work cohesively together. So with that being said, let's jump into a little bit of our subject. But before I do, I want to say this. Now, we are wrecked and certified, and I know with that name, wrecked and certified, we wanted to say we have gone through a lot. But our main objective here is to help people to overcome, to help people find good in all of their wreckness. If I could say that word, wreckness.
Yeah. And so, the wrecked part is, like you indicated, babe, all of the challenges, all of our ups and downs, all of the different things that we've gone through that we had to overcome. And the certification part, or the certified part, is the sheer fact or the mere fact that we were able to overcome and get through. So I don't want anybody to kind of misconstrue this, that, oh my gosh, we're certified in all these different genres and all these different subjects that we talked about. From either a clinical or financial or what have you. It's the certified part because we have overcome, and now we can tell our story to you, and hopefully you can gain some experience and you can gain some insight as to maybe how to improve your situation. So that's where the certified comes in. And so,
Yeah. So with that being said, we want to talk about what inspires us.
yeah.
What inspires us in our lives? What gives you that little extra boost, that little extra motivation to move on to the next level? Rigas, I'm going to have you start with you. So we're going to go back and forth a little bit. And I want Rigas to start out with, babe, what inspires you?
Oh my gosh, that's a very good question, babe. There's a lot of things inspires me. I'm inspired. I think one of the things that really kind of get my juices going is growth.
Yeah. That's good.
And, growth can be looked at from many different perspectives and many different angles and dimensions, etc. But growth is anything that goes from, let's say 0 to hero, 0 to 10, or 0 to 2, or 0 to 1. It's the progression, something moving forward. I look at that as being growth. And I'm inspired by growth, individuals that want to improve their relationships, individuals that want to improve their finances, individuals that want to improve just their overall perspective of the world, treating others with kindness, being more benevolent. To me, that's a sign of growth and maturity. And I always get jazzed about that. I like to read self-help books and educate myself there and see how I can improve myself. How can I be a better spouse? How can I be a better father? A better this or better that? All of that requires growth. And I think we were talking about this earlier this morning when we were trying to prepare, is that the growth element sometimes people don't understand. Sometimes when you're in the mindset of growth, you have to put some things away. Let's say growth is you want to lose X amount of pounds. Well, you can't sit up on the couch all day eating a bag of Cheetos and your favorite candy bar, binge watching to whatever shows out there. That is not growth. That is stagnant. That is, you're going to get unhealthy in the whole 9 yards. So growth to me is sometimes putting something away, whatever it's a creature comfort or something that you rely on or depend on, and really challenging yourself to get out there and have a new persona, a new leash on life, if you will, and put those things away. And sometimes that's hard.
It
Growth is
is.
hard.
Growth is one of a
Because I mean,
challenging things.
sometimes when you look at that situation, you're like, yeah, baby, I'm gonna turn a new leaf, and then you go out to the gym and you're like, okay, I'm spending 4 hours in the gym every day. Well, one, that's unrealistic and it's unsustainable, and you're gonna burn yourself out, and you're gonna be back on the couch in 3 weeks. And so sometimes growth is slow, and that's why a lot of people don't do it, because it's a slow
It's a process.
grind. Yeah, it's a process.
It's a
So I'm
process.
I'm I'm inspired by growth.
That's good. I like that. I like that. And, we stay on that path where we're trying to grow on a daily. We talked about that daily growth and, setting goals and setting up things like that. But yeah, that's all a part of growth. So that's good. I like that. So one of my things,
Yay! My wife likes it. Okay.
so one of my things is that inspires me is survival. You hear that saying, survival of the fittest. But, sometimes life brings you those things that can be tiresome, that can be hard, that can be challenging. But just to see when people triumph over those things as such a thing as illnesses. And, I think that's one of the things that's most inspiring to me when I look at people who have illnesses, but they still have peace. They still have joy. They don't let that thing consume them where they're like, I'm not going to let this thing defeat me, but I'm a survivor. I'm going to hang in there to the end. And I find that so amazing and so motivating and so inspirational in my life. So
I think honey, that is great. Survival. I mean, when you
because we've went through a lot of things and we've survived, and
exactly,
I even look at our lives where we've survived certain things, where we challenges and over things we've had to overcome, and I'm just like, God, Destiny's Child talking about I'm a survivor. You look at certain situations, you're like, yeah, I am a survivor. I've overcome that thing, and I didn't give up. I didn't throw in the towel, but
it's the easy thing to do.
I hung in there. Yeah.
It's the easy thing to do.
It is.
And I think when we were talking about this in context, when you have a dream, I think sometimes you have to have that survivor mentality, because there's going to be some challenges along the way where things that the outlook or that dream, it becomes foggy. Have you ever drove across country and you're driving in some inclement weather? Sometimes the fog comes down and you don't see the road in front of you. But you know that, if I pull over on the side of the road and turn back around, I'm not going to get to my destination. However, sometimes when you're going through that, you get those white knuckles on the wheel, but you slow down, you grind it out. I can remember a time I was driving up from Portland to Seattle, heading back into the area, and I've never seen fog like this. I literally had to keep my eye on the fog line to survive that fog, because otherwise, if I would just look straight on, I would just be in fright night, and I would be in fear of hitting another
And you would have
vehicle.
never got to
I would
your
never got to my destination. I'd have
destination.
pulled
Yeah.
over and maybe created another expense and all this other stuff, etc. But I think sometimes in life, when you go through the situations, you have to have that I've got to survive mentality. No matter what it looks like, I can't see my way, but I'm going to survive this thing. And just, just have to have that fortitude to just go for it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but you just keep your, they say, put the
Flip
pedal.
that survival
Yeah,
switch mode on and
yeah,
be like, that I got this.
yeah, exactly.
We
I'm
talk
put on autopilot. And yeah, it's gonna ride me through this storm, but out of that storm, guess what? I'm on course.
I'm gonna survive.
I'm gonna survive this thing, and I think that's important for me. Another thing that inspires me, having good people in my life, good friends, a loving family, good relationships. I'm inspired by that because I like to see the camaraderie. I like to see the togetherness, the friendship, the love. I'm gonna say this. Earlier this week, and I wasn't gonna mention this on the show, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna mention it. I have a good buddy. His name's Steve. He and I have been friends since like 2000 and I think two or maybe three. And there were some couple episodes in there where we had lost connection for 3 or 4 years. And we reconnected and we started talking. I met him at a Starbucks. This is like maybe close to now 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Well, the interesting thing, we started talking. He had been remarried, and I was like, "That's great, man. How's it going, Steve?" He's giving me the lowdown, and bringing me up to speed. Well, I found out that we had so much in common just by sitting down and talking with each other. And that conversation inspired me because even though we lost connection, we were able to come back together. Found out that his wife has the same birthday as my wife. Their anniversary is in the same month as my anniversary. His birthday is in the same month as my birthday. And we both live in Puyallup. I mean, there were so many things that we had in common, and through that conversation, we were able to connect and we were able to grow. But I went ahead and I put this box together for him. A little plug in for my other business, a little Blessedest box. He has a subscription with me, but nonetheless, I wrote this letter out to him, and I said, "Man, this is kind of a little awkward," but I said, "Man, I love you like a brother." And he called me the next day and he said, "Man, Regis," he goes, "that letter, it inspired me, man." He goes, "I will always hold on to that letter because that letter was written with passion. It was written with love. It was written with respect, and it came from your heart." And I said, "Man, this feels kind of weird because most dudes don't write letters to dudes, And I made a disclaimer. I ain't funny, man. I'm just letting you know this is how I feel
You're just
about
letting
you.
them know that you appreciate them.
Yeah,
And that's good to do.
yeah. So that letter inspired him, and it inspired me, and the
That's
whole nine
good.
yards. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
You had mentioned a little bit earlier in your long
Dissertation.
dissertation, you mentioned something about dreams.
Yes.
And this week I was inspired because our children released their first single on their album.
Yes.
So kudos and congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah,
to
that was
them.
awesome.
And to me, that was inspiring. One, to see them come up with the lyrics, the music, to put all of that, lay the tracks, all of that stuff that entails bringing a whole song together. That, and then for it to be launched onto iTunes, Amazon, all of those musical platforms. To me, I was, it's those proud parent moments,
exactly,
where you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And to see them and to move in their dreams was inspiring to me. Even I look at my son as he moves into some of his dreams where he's just like doing all that extra work of training and working out on the field and doing all those things to move to his aspired dreams as being a professional football player, and just to see those things. But the main thing is to see all of those dreams, all of those aspirations that you work so hard on for them to come to fruition. And it's just amazing and it's inspiring. And I'm like, if they can do it, if they can if they can move in their dreams, I can do it too. Now, it's not to say it in a jealous, envious way. Now, don't get me wrong when I say that. That's not jealousy. That's not being envious. But to say, God, look at them. Look what they did. But to say it in a congratulating them and
congratulatory way. I think what you're trying to say there, babe, is that you use that as the fire or the fuel.
Yeah.
To say, hey, look, you know what? Because I know that there were some sacrifices made.
Yeah.
There were some, because I remember calling my girls. We call the girls and we say, hey, look, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're in the studio, or we're laying down lyrics, or Jure, he's doing the tracks or whatever. And no, we can't do that this weekend, or we can't do that, we can't do this, because they had a dream and they wanted to pursue that dream. And along with that, to your point, babe, there's some sacrifice and there's some things that you have to give up along the way.
And sometimes when we look at people's dreams, we can look at it as, oh, I want this or I want that. And be careful with that because you never know, like you said, the sacrifices or the things that they went through or the stress and the turmoil that they went through to get to that place in their lives. So careful what you ask for,
Exactly.
and careful how you look at other people's dreams. Make your own dreams.
Exactly. Because you're going to have your own set of circumstances in order for you to arrive at your dream. And you have to look at your life a little differently. And I think in America, I think we are so guilty of this because we live in such instant gratification type community and environment, and we don't understand that those individuals that have their dream or have their dreams that they're going after, they have to give up something. And it
Yeah,
could
they
be
do.
giving up family time. It could be giving up, the snacks, or depending on what that goal is. I want to be physically fit, or I want to be doing this, I want to be doing that. There is a sacrifice to arriving at success. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think that, it's the sky is going to miraculously part in a big, bowl of, golden nuggets are going to fall in my lap and everything is going to be just great. Well, that's not reality. The reality is that you have to get something, one that's going to inspire you. You're going to have to make some sacrifices along the way to arrive at your dream.
And I think that, and I'm going to say this and we'll move on to the next, but I think that social media and whatnot plays a lot in that, where people see that little snippet of people's dreams or their
Lifestyle.
lifestyle, and they're saying, "Oh, I want that," and they live vicariously through them. But yeah, learn to look at it in a positive light and be inspired about what they're doing and move it into your life. How does it play a part in your life, and how are you inspired by it?
No,
So,
you have to look at it from that perspective, because if you're trying to live your life through something else or through someone else, like you said, you don't know the backstory. A lot of times we read in these articles and how they arrived. They don't know it took them 15 years or 20 years to get to here. They don't know the nights and the early mornings and the sacrifices that they made to get their dream fulfilled, to have that a reality. And so to your point, babe, you're 100% right about that. So what am I inspired by? I'm also inspired by my wife.
oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, that is sweet. And no, no, I'm seriously, I'm inspired by my wife. I've looked at, even on our podcast show, and we started on December 31st, 2019. And I looked at you and you were like, oh gosh, I'm a little nervous, this, that, and the other. And I've seen your development. I've seen your confidence grow. I've seen now you're taking over, which we'll talk about later. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, I've seen the development in your overall persona, not only in reference to this, but in reference to your fortitude and your faith, where you said, dear, I'm walking away from my job. And I had doubts about that.
Yes, you did.
And, but I went ahead and said, I'm going to go ahead and stand by my wife and encourage her and be her biggest fan and be her biggest cheerleader. And
Thank you.
even though I didn't understand, why she was up in the middle of the morning with, her prayer and meditation at times, but I did understand because she was trying to get clarity and she was trying to get laser-like focus. And sometimes in our lives, we don't arrive at our dreams or we don't arrive at our destinations because we're clouded with all of the mundane stuff in our lives. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on social media, we're watching TV, we're checking out the latest gossip, we're doing this and we're doing that. And then what ends up happening, we have this acute dream that we're trying to pursue, but it'll never get realized because we got so much junk in the way. And it's just like anything else. If you want to organize something, you got to clear the room.
Yeah.
You got to take everything. You got to start clearing the desk. You got to start putting everything in its proper place, because you just got to dishevel it everywhere. You're never going to arrive at those dreams. So I want to say, no, we have not arrived yet. We're still work in progress. But
Absolutely.
some of the things that I've seen you over the last year and a half, I'm inspired. I am totally stoked about your future. I am totally proud of you and all of the accomplishments and all the things that you've got going on with all the different businesses and all the different things. And you know what? If you can't get happy about someone else's success,
Yeah.
what can you get happy about? Because when I'm cheering you on, really, I'm putting wings, I'm putting air under my wings. You know what I'm saying? When I'm cheering you on, that makes my motor go. When I'm doing you, really, I'm doing me, because we're that great team
Yeah,
together.
because we're
So
celebrating us.
exactly, we're celebrating us. And I think, if you're out there listening to us and husband, wife, couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, don't get jealous.
Yeah.
Don't get envious. Don't go, oh, they trying to outdo me and whatever. Look, when they're on the summit, you know what? They gonna pull you up there with them. At least we hope.
I was gonna say,
Liz, we hope. You don't act a fool. We hope we get you. But anyway, I mean, but that's the whole thing, and that's why I'm
That's the
inspired
hope.
by you,
That's
baby.
the premise.
And starting your own business in the midst of a pandemic, that is awesome. So I just wanted to say you inspire me, and I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all those kind words that you said to me, and you inspired me as well. But one of the things that you mentioned next on my list is faith. You talked about the faith that I had. And now everybody their faith may not be like mine, and the next person and the next person. But with my faith, that inspires me is knowing that I can rely on a higher being, which is Jesus. And knowing that I can look to him and say, God, I know you got me. God, I know you're going to show me the way. God, I know you're going to provide for me. That's where my faith lies. And that's where I get my daily inspiration. That's where I get that I know everything's going to be all right. When Regis is saying, oh, I don't know, when he brings out his little calculator and he's calculating things, I already know that faith has kicked in, that God has already showed me that situation is going to be all right, that I know that I'm okay.
Well,
We're okay.
It's really interesting that you say that. I mean, because I will break out the calculator. I don't know why you're trying to go underneath the covers today, but that's okay. I'm still inspired by
I'm
you.
gonna run you over with the bus.
Exactly.
Today.
I'm gonna take everything that I said. No, I'm kidding. But you're right about that. And because of your faith and because of your devoutness to Christ, and because I've seen your resiliency there, it has been a godsend. It has been a major lift for me because and that's the old saying. The old saying says, excuse me, iron sharpeneth iron.
Yeah,
and
it does.
It really does, because if you have a relationship where you look to each other for strength, I think that's important, instead of looking for outwards. And we talked about this in previous podcasts about turning, inwardly instead of outwardly. I think that's important, especially if you have some goals that, you want to achieve together. You have to turn inwardly and you have to be inspired by one another. And it's so easy to turn to the Steve Jobs and the Bezos of the world and these iconic figures that have, built great companies, billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, etc. But you know what? I look for the kindness. I look for the benevolent person. I look for somebody that has a great attitude around friendship and goodness and all of that other stuff, etc. It's so easy to hate.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be envious. It's so easy to get caught up in all of that craziness or whatever. But it takes power. It takes courage. It takes fortitude. It takes all of those different things to rise above the fray.
It does.
And to say, you know what? I'm inspired by you. Even though sometimes you cut me, honey, I'm still inspired by you. Even sometimes you say, you know what, honey, you don't need to be doing that, or you should be doing this or whatever. And I have to stop and think, I'm still inspired by you because I know that you mean it out of love and you got my best interest at heart.
Yeah. What's next on your list?
What's next on my list? Oh God. No, I'm inspired by children. I'm inspired by children because they have the opportunity to grow and to learn and to develop their minds and to be all that they can be as they, go through the different cycles and stages of their lives, etc. And that's why the previous podcast in Blended Families is so indicative. It's so important for us to make sure that we're putting good things into our children. You may not believe the way I believe, but I do believe that there's a common core of decency and respect and gratitude and appreciation that we need to be putting into our children. And then, of course, teaching them good concepts along the way, like how to do this and how to do that, how to handle your money as they get older, good value, principle,
Yeah.
foundational stuff. So I'm inspired by children because I know that, if I see a child out there that's wayward or struggling or whatever, you can say something to that child, or you can take that child under your wing and try to court them and steer them in the right direction so they can just be great. I mean, every child has the potential to be great if they're in the right environment, if they get the love and the care and everything like that. So I'm inspired by children, believe it or not. Not the bad ones, but them, but even them bad ones.
The baby's kids.
No, not baby kids. No, but
But next on my list is charity. Charity, I love when I see people giving. When they had a heart of giving unto others. Now, not that giving where I'm expecting something in return.
Right.
No, but they give it from the abundance of their heart, where they give it where they're not expecting anything in return. Giving to the homeless, helping feed the homeless. I have a friend, excuse me, that she started up a market, and it's called Peace Community. And I look at just a young lady where she's going out into the community and she's feeding the hungry. Even one of our daughters just going out to the community, feeding the hungry, creating these platforms how you can help the homeless and not how to look down upon them or judge them from the situations that they're in, but taking their time and their resources and their gifts and their talents, and they're giving it back to help someone else. So I think that's awesome, and charity inspires me.
That's awesome. They say charity begins at home, and that is so true. I really believe charity is such an incremental part, and some of it is lost, I think, on the individual level or maybe on our level where we're trying to aspire because we're trying to take that money and invest it here, take that money and make more money and do this, do that so we can get in the position to do more. But even if you do a little bit, every little bit helps. And, and I know that there's different viewpoints, hey, if you do that, you're enabling, and if you do this, whatever. But, you have to think about it. What if you were out on the streets and your circumstances were such where you were responsible and something happened, and there's a lot of people in that situation because of this pandemic where they just had tough circumstances and they fell on that tough times in their life. And so when you have individuals out there like that have a heart to do that and to reach out to somebody in need, it goes a long way. And that inspires me. Like, what can I do more of? That's why we're working hard to get our businesses to the next level, because the more money that comes through our doors, the more we can give back and be a resource to those individuals that cannot help themselves at this particular point in time.
Yeah. So
let
me go on to one of my next
go ahead,
ones.
go
since
into one of yours.
You're getting, love. Now, you talked about me. Let me talk a little bit about you. One of my things that inspires me is love, and the thing about love that inspires me is the love that Regis and I have for each other.
What?
I often say to Regis, I love us. I just love the love that we have for each other, and the love and the respect that we have for one another. Sometimes love is patient, love is kind, love is caring, but you also see those relationships where they're speaking ill of each other or they're always talking down about their spouse. But I appreciate and I'm inspired that we don't have that. We're always uplifting each other. We're always motivating each other. We're always encouraging each other to do the next and the best thing for each other. We're always working, how can we build upon the love that we have in our relationship? So that inspires me. The other part of love is God's love. That inspires me, how he died on the cross for us and how he gave us the opportunity to be able to dwell with him again. That that's to me, that's the ultimate love.
That's
Now, I
it.
love Regis to the moon and back, but that love of God is just something about that love that just consumes you. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's no other love like that. And the love of your family and the love of your friends and all the things that love brings to you. So, but
That's
that inspires me.
That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful, babe. I can't top that. I was just gonna say what other inspires me is a good book. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna have to leave that good book down. But I'm talking about the good book. So no, I will say this. You know, as we kind of wrap up here today, you know, these are some things that inspire us, and you know, sometimes we always look around in our surroundings and we go, you know, what does inspire us? You know, I want to be inspired by the people that are the most cherished and the closest people in my net, in my community. Because, you know, they tell you your success is all dependent on your relationships. And so I want to surround myself with good people. I want to surround myself
Absolutely.
with people that are going to honor me and uplift me and encourage me and inspire me and say, you can do it, knock it out of the park, and not people that are, you know, Debbie Downers and tear you down and you ain't this and you ain't that or whatever. I don't need those people in my life. But what I do need, I need people that try to understand that, hey, he's got somewhere to go and I'm going to help him get to his next destination. And so, you know what, babe, I think this was an awesome show. I know we're
Yeah.
just a tad over, but I really want to say to all those out there that are listening to us today, get inspired.
Be
You know,
inspired.
talk about those things that inspire you, your family, your friends, you know, whatever that is, and let that be the fuel and the fire you need to get to the next level in your life.
Absolutely.
So we don't have any outstanding
No.
announcements today,
No, we
but
don't.
hopefully today, you know, it's kind of a comical. We kind of put some twist on it, etc., and you learned something today, and at least what inspires us. I know something out there is inspiring you. Find that what it is,
Find it.
and go for it. And so, with that being
Absolutely.
said,
We
we're
are
wrecked
wrecked
and
and
certified.
certified. Thank you.
Take care.